Serrano. And wait, who are you?
It's me, Kellen Ann.
Wow. Wow.
Surprise.
Surprise. Thank you so much for being here. This is super, super cool to have you on here. It's a special day anyway. So I believe things happen the way they're supposed to happen. There's no mistakes in life. Unfortunately, Brian is running a little late. And so my dear friend Kellen here was willing to come and fill his shoes till he shows up. He'll probably wonder, what? Did I get replaced when he comes backstage? But that's okay. I didn't tell him we were doing this. But I want to talk about this weekend. And first of all, I want to thank you for taking time. You're supposed to be in a Zoom meeting, and instead you're here with me. And so that makes me feel honored. I love you so much. That is so great. And Kelm was sweet enough to make something special for me, which I'm going to share here in a minute. But I just want to talk about how was your weekend?
It was exhausting.
Was it?
Yeah, I've been writing a lot. I'm working on a new product that we're going to launch in 1 week from Wednesday. And I'm collaborating with one of our mutual friends, beautiful woman. I can't wait to share it with the world.
Oh, that is so cool. There's just so much excitement in the air and stuff. And so I'm just super, super excited. I'm just excited about this weekend. I had the honor, and I'm going to put this on there, but I had the honor to be Clubhouse Impact with Texas. And now something that Kellen and I are both doing, and Kellen just made this for me because we just both realized we're going to be on the stage together on the Clubhouse. So I am super, super excited that it worked out that way for both of us. So that's right after the show, basically, we're going to be over there. So that's super cool. We are super honored to have mutually some amazing people that have impacted the world, have personally impacted us. And that, it's so funny. Oh, you know what? Let's see if we could do this. Let me see. I'm going to send Mark a link to just like show up. Hopefully he's dressed.
You're dressed, Mark.
I know, right? But he just said that was great as far. Oh, he said hi, ladies. But anyways, it's just an amazing. Yeah, you're right, Jerry. It doesn't look like Brian.
I take offense to that.
Well, today happens to be Women's Day. So how cool is it that you're here? Brian is temporarily not here. He'll be here momentarily, is what I said. So I took this great opportunity to have my fellow panelist with me. We're in a 3-day summit with on Clubhouse, the first women's celebration of National Women's Day. And we're just beside ourselves, the amazing things that are happening there and the impact. So what an honor it is, one, to have you here.
Weren't the stories this morning at 6 a.m. my time
your
amazing? I mean, I was in tears for quite a few of them. I'm like, oh my gosh, these women are sharing their hearts and souls, and then we lift each other up and see each other's successes and triumphs.
I actually, look, I wrote this really quick.
Oh, wow.
I spoke this morning too. And this year it's called Vulnerable. And this is a real raw show. So I was going to share real quick that I said, I'm a woman, Lynn. I was at 5 years old, sexually abused by an uncle that had Down syndrome. I've been sexually abused, physically abused. 3 marriages, 27 years total, sexual abuse, domestic violence. I said, shame, weak to use my voice and to stand up for myself. I'm a woman strong, filled with love, light, to help those who need to see that they too can overcome challenges in life by sharing their story and helping others find their own voice. And I'm Lynn, and I'm done. But I got to tell you that had it not been for women strong enough to share their stories and to make me realize that, hey, I'm not alone, that things happen to good people. And the fact is that now I've turned it into, it's a blessing because I can empathize with those that have gone through things that I have in the past. So that's a badge of, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's a sisterhood I wouldn't wish many people, but statistics show that we're all affected one way or another. So, hey, look at this. Ha ha. Brian,
Hi, Brian.
Yeah.
Kellen came in and it's Women's Day, so we decided what better to do than to bring Kellen in and talk about Women's Day on Clubhouse really quick. So it worked out really well. And
Yeah.
I went to her like, "Who are you?" Obviously, it wasn't Brian. So
Well, I know I could never fill his shoes. So thanks for letting me be here and to chat about the Women's Day. I will see you at 11. I'm going to go back
yeah,
to my meeting.
yeah. But before you leave,
Yeah.
I wanted to say that we were talking about clutter today, and I know we talked about this before the show. So you want to share your way of clutter here?
Well, my dog is trying to get rid of my clutter. This is my calendar for today. He decided to eat it. So I'm decluttering in a pug way. I love you guys.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye. That was cool. Brian, welcome. Welcome to the stage. It's my Brian. I'm so glad you're here. Can you hear me? Wait, you're muted.
I'm here.
Okay, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
All right.
But now you're here. I'm so glad.
Mm-hmm.
And that worked out well. I talked about Women's Day. I talked about the blessings that I had to be part of the Texas Send Love to Texas, and now I'm part of a panel of women that are on the Clubhouse for Women's National Day. We're doing 3 days of women stuff over there, and it's very empowering and uplifting. And so I would highly recommend for people to come over to Clubhouse and listen to that, because it's just an amazing honor to be part of those two things. And let me see, I've got this. I was able, I had the chance to do both of those things, and that's a huge honor to be part of those panels. So anyhow, so how was your weekend, Brian?
It was pretty chill and relaxing. I was busy all over the place, so ready to get back after it.
Well, there you go.
Weekend.
Earlier, Brian, Jerry came and said that doesn't look like Brian. Do we have a dynamic tool here?
Yep.
So, hey, friends fill in whenever they can, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, I feel like I'm throwing you to the fire here, but I'm excited the fact that we decided and you discussed this week we're going to do self-help and talk about different topics about self-help. And I'm pretty excited about this because it's just something I've been doing lately, and it's amazing what it does. And I mentioned the other day, I had another backup I got to say hello and goodbye to. Mark was going to show up too to help. So Mark, thank you for being here. It's nice to know. Oh, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. Typical. Can't hear you. Anyways, thank you so much for showing up. We love you. Thank you. Bye. I wanted to acknowledge him. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, I wanted to say, remember I mentioned about my dog? I was not making my bed for a long time because my dog loves to burrow himself in my blankets, and he really gets sad, and he'd give me this puppy face. That dog, I'm so sad. I got pictures of him balled up in that thing. And so I realized that, wait a second, he's my dog, and I'm curtailing to his feelings and not mine. He's just got to get used to the fact that the bed's made. And so let me tell you, for me personally, having my bed made has just made me feel so accomplished every day. And every day I write a little to-do list of some clutter or some stuff to go through. And it's just amazing how that really helps self-confidence and stuff for me. So
you have to make a concerted effort, because it's not going to happen on its own. And I know many people in my industry that got tons and tons of equipment and gear and tools, and they just keep buying more because they don't want to look at, like a whole garage that's allocated for things that they can either sell, but just in order for one to declutter, they have to realize that that something's not going right? That you have to disrupt the norm, and if you're confused, if you have security places, or not security places, but storage places, so instead of getting rid of the stuff, you just buy more space and spend more money. Not the best of things. If you want to live a fulfilled life, a simple life.
And can I just say that how much do we use? I have an extra bedroom here downstairs with me, and it's full of stuff, or AKA shit, or stuff that I just overbought, didn't realize I still have a bunch of it. So now I'm going to convert it into my extra supply room, which is cool because it's conducive. But to organize it, that the supplies are where I need it, so I can make a better inventory. That's the way I'd like to look at it now, and not look at it as, okay, everything's piled in there. No, I'm at the store, or I'm going to order in the app because I don't know exactly where it is. Who can do that? I mean, why do that to yourself? So,
well, there's a lot of types of decluttering, but so everybody knows is that I follow several like minimalistic types of people, and I if you dive down deep into what minimalism is, I think a lot of people have a misrepresentation that it's you have one chair and you have nothing, like no belongings, and that's not how I've learned, right? I've learned that if it doesn't have purpose or fulfillment in your life, get rid of it, right? That's what it means to me. And, I have lots of books, I have notes, I have papers, I have magazines, I have all this learning materials that there's just not enough time in a day for, right? And if it's a type of material that you can get rid of, like technology or whatever, it's time sensitive, right? And then there's something new coming out. But other things are timeless, like different magazines and stuff. So it's not only physical possessions, but it's also mental. What are you doing to clear up your mind? George Carlin has a good story on stuff. When you are young, you spend all your money buying your stuff, and then as you get older, you buy a place to keep your stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm on the frame of mind right now that it's like I don't need very much, besides like if I need some new pair of pants or shirts or whatever. But I would rather buy better quality stuff, and to know, my mind has been conditioned where I'm thinking about how long is this going to last me, 3, 5, 7 years or whatever it is. And I would rather do that than it's kind of like shoes, like me being on my feet when I'm doing events. Could I easily, buy $60 shoes and have multiple pairs of them? Yeah. Why would I not want to buy a $200 pair of shoes? And it's just what I wear. Right. And so it's as much as a mindset shift as it is, you have to acknowledge that you need to make some changes. Right. And obviously the work is done in the front end for the reward in the back end. I know several people that have garages filled with things, and they just keep buying more versus acknowledging that, maybe I might want to put my car in here someday, or I might want to make this into a workshop, versus dealing with that big elephant in the room, so to speak.
I couldn't agree more. I follow some minimalists too. At first, it was like I wanted to get at the understanding of where they were coming from.
Yep.
And how freeing it is. I love seeing how freeing it is for people. And I did an experiment. I mean, instead of having my daughter down, we split the house. I mean, I decided downstairs, I've got a room that's as big as the whatever. It's a huge room. It's like a hotel suite. Mm-hmm. And I've just seen if I could live down here. And then all of a sudden COVID had, and I didn't go from just thinking, let's see how it would work. That's just become my living space the last year. Mm-hmm. And, nothing better than to just trying to organize it so that it works for me instead of it, I'm working for it. I'm, hoarding too much stuff in one area and finding a place, the saying, right? Find a place, everything has its place, kind of thing. Right. And I never understood that concept or had that concept. So, I mean, there's a lot of things you can understand and find out and figure from the other side, get out of your own mindset. And even if you're a hoarder, we're not knocking that, but try to join a minimalist group or something and I think you'd be better for it just doing that. And then there's great shows about dejunking and making things look prettier, more, how to fit things in smaller spaces and things like that. It's just exciting to see how creative you can be with your space. And I love books too. And I I pared down a bunch of books, but there's some books I won't part from. And I've got an area here where it's going to be my nice library. There's books on there I haven't looked in a while, but I'm going to clear it up and say, okay, am I going to look at this one again or whatever? But I'm looking for the safe haven of my books and to have things be better. But decluttering as a whole is
and obviously, like, depending on what generation you grew up in, okay, so there's the link. Thank you, Jerry, for sharing the link. Is depending on what generation you grew up in, you know, the societal norms are going to be different, right? When my dad was, you know, my dad, you know, kept like he would do a lot of projects. You know, he built a lot of stuff just by his own brain, right? It's just how he thought. And if there was like, if he'd go out and buy something and he would use it, he'd never throw it away because there's always a thought that I might use it in the future sometime. And then you would keep it because that was the mindset back in the day. You know, who knows if you need it, but then years down the road, number one, you forget that you had it. Number two, you can't find it when you need it. And number three is it going to be any good? You know, so depending on what, you know, generation you grew up in, I get it. And given that our society is very, you know, consumerism, you know, very, I don't know, waste plentiful, like in an area where you would dispose of things. It's a very disposable society that anything that you can do, but it's not gonna happen overnight if it's gonna stick.
I'm just thinking about how many people right now have like a closet full of toilet paper.
Yeah. Well, that's consumables or whatever.
Yeah,
but I mean, we're talking, saying, you know, and obviously, if you really want to take this on, you know, like let's say physical decluttering, is that you have to start small or you're not going to start. There's a reason why, like, let's say if a garage is filled with stuff that you haven't touched in 20 years and the paint of your vehicle might be oxidized because you've let your vehicle sit outside versus putting it in the garage, how much does it have to become painful for you to acknowledge that I need to do something about this, right? And all the minimalist experts talk about that if you try to tackle the whole project at once, you're going to stop before you start. So to get the ball rolling, just like the snowball effect, start with, you know, your junk drawer, right? Batteries that you no longer need, things that are in there that you just keep adding to it. Start small, but put on your list that every day. And if you live with somebody or have a partner, if you're married, get them a part of it to hold you accountable, or maybe make it a group activity, you know, and then you guys are able to be rewarded with a nice dinner out somewhere, right? Make it fun, make it eventful, but also they'll know that anything of this nature is worth doing for, you know, what you don't see now is what you'll see at the end of it. But unfortunately, you have to go through the paces and get rid of this stuff in order for the reward to show up, you know. And, you know, Steve Jobs, you know, co-founder of Apple, you know, there was a reason why he dressed the same way every day. It's because he wanted to put his brain power towards other things, you know. So that's why instead of having multiple houses and an array of cars, he wanted to keep it simple. You know, I wear the same thing every day so I can use my brain power towards something else. And, you know, instead of spending the first several hours of the day like, oh, what am I going to wear? And it's like, man, you're putting all that mental real estate into something that should just be, you know, and I get it, you know, women are going to think about their appearance more than men. It doesn't, maybe not, but I just think that there's more mental real estate that can be used for other things than besides what we do every day.
Yeah, but you know, I get that part. But let's say, you know, you're on the show, you're here with black all the time. Let's say, then you go somewhere else and you wear a different shirt. It's like a different uniform. You know what I mean? Like it just gets to be your identity. And I think that's kind of how, you know, like.
Well, and how everybody uses their time is how they use it. But if something's not working and they're not getting, you know, I mean, we all, one of the common things that it doesn't matter how successful you are or how many, you know, millions of dollars you have. There's one thing that's no denying that we all have the same of, and that's 24 hours in a day, right? And we use it however we create it to be, or, you know, or maybe we waste that time. But one of the areas that for me to find opportunity is like, I don't worry about what I wear every day. You know, I kind of wear the same thing unless I'm at an event or something, because I know that I have other stuff to do, you know, but that's different for gender, you know, that might not be the same for everybody. And I get that. So.
Yeah. But no, those are different things and different ways to look at it. And I love seeing diversity. I love seeing, what people bring to the table, and not judging, but I love to see other people's minds and how they work. And to see things from someone else's perspective and angle. I just love that. And I love that sometimes you get nuggets out of it and you think, wow, I never thought of it that way, and so it's one of those things where I just I'm just really excited the fact that I have been decluttering. And what I'm doing is every week before garbage, Monday, Tuesday, because Wednesday night the garbage goes out, I try to find even the small stuff that I'm not using, that's no good, that's whatever, that so slowly, I think by the end of the year I'll get rid of everything. I mean, because I was trying to divide, let me do the pressure of this and that, and then I was thinking of it too much, saying no, do as much as I can. And it becomes fun to have, like right now I have 3 bags full of garbage, stuff that I'm just throwing away for this week.
Good.
So I should have been writing all along the bags I started doing, but
there's a couple mindsets that come to mind about decluttering, and depending on who you follow or whatever, I mean, we can give you some names of people that are really good in the space, but it's like one of the mindsets is that if you buy anything new, you got to get rid of something, so whatever you buy that's new, you get rid of something that's old, because I mean, that's how decluttering starts, is that, there's more going in than what's going out, right? Or being repurposed. And so another mindset would be is like, whenever you're looking at things to get rid of, keep it, sell it, or donate it.
Yep.
That's another simple mindset, that there is no maybe or we'll figure it out later, because that's what causes you not to take any action, and where your efforts don't really have any results attached to them, because you're not moving anything. You're just putting it from one place to the next versus actually, okay, making a definitive choice. Am I going to keep this? Am I going to sell it? Or am I going to donate it? Right.
Yep.
And, I learned in my industry of like professional audio, lighting, all those different types of things, is that, you have to be really straight with yourself to be like, do I want to sell this or do I want to keep it?
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to be like, well, it's worth that, and it's like, okay, it might be, but there again, do you want to fight over $3 to keep it, and then you're waiting for that buyer to come along, or do you want to get rid of it? Right?
Yeah.
What's your intention? And I know some people may not agree with that, but it's like you have to make a conscious choice. Darren, thanks for being here. You have to make a conscious choice if you want to keep something or get rid of it, right? And there is no in between. It's either one or the other, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like the whole put away, throw away, or give away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you only have 3 choices.
Yep.
Throw away, or give it away, or put it away.
Right.
And same thing goes if you're going to purchase something. Does it have a place? Don't buy it because it's on sale, because it's going to cost you more in the long run. Right. Hauling it from here, hauling it from there, energy, and trying to get rid of it. And trust me, I know. And it's one of those things where, when you realize that it's not freeing who you are to be, and I guess at 55, I want to travel more and stuff. So I think that's what's also exciting me to really see how minimal things I use on a daily basis, and how compact I mean, shoot, I even got me a portable little a green screen chair thing, so that when I travel, I mean, I have my little ring light. I mean, I have things that it can be compact for traveling. So my mindset is, what can I take on the go? What can I live without? And what do I really need? How many times, ladies, you pack stuff for a trip? How many times you don't use half the stuff you brought? I mean, we have a bad habit. Granted, there's times that we got to figure out, well, is it cold? Or is it going to change? Or is it going to be casual or dress up? Yes, one of each is great or whatever. But most of the time we worry and took too much time out of our schedule just to do that. So again, decluttering and getting to the point really can make your life so much easier.
Well, and a buddy of mine, my buddy and Scotty, who lives in Louisville, Texas, he he went to college where I went to college, and 2 of the most valuable lessons I learned were from him. And it's like, use what you have and have what you use, right? I mean, it doesn't get any more granular than that. Have what you use and use what you have, so, and it either serves you or it doesn't. right? And another one is like from a business standpoint, if it's not making you money, get rid of it, you know? And I mean, manufacturers, doesn't matter what space you're in, manufacturers out there are to make it, you know, the advertisers are trained are trained to get you to see an absence in your life, right? They pay for mental real estate. They pay to grab your attention for something that they make you feel a certain way about or that you need. And you know, just watch that one show. Oh man, I can't even remember it, but um, it was a show about the dependency on social and stuff like that. But is if you have no inherent need, then don't, you know, unsubscribe from everything that doesn't apply. Like if you've bought something once from a retailer or whatever, and they keep sending you messages, well, you're just opening yourself up for something you don't need, right? So
Yeah.
I've unsubscribed little here and little there, but it's like it's so reinforcing to Shannon. Thanks for being here from Pittsburgh Steelers country.
Yeah.
Is that if it's only prompting you for something that, yes, you had a need, whatever you bought in that moment was fulfilled, and then you click sure, yeah, send me updates, send me emails with all the new specials, and it's like if you needed it, you can make a conscious decision by going to their website, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how you get catalogs and all these other things, is because all they do is need a little bit of contact information, and then you're very difficult to get rid of them.
Can we go to decluttering your mind from all the past mistakes you've made?
Sure.
Forgive yourself for decluttering your mind from, you can't change whatever happened. You can only go forward and learn for it, fail forward, and decluttering your mind for happy thoughts and thinking about what it is you want and not what you don't want anymore going forward. We're at a time right now where that's huge. Shannon says, oh yeah, black and gold.
Cool.
Wow.
Is one of the things I'm dealing with right now is just like when it comes to, you know, obviously there's going to be more things that are pulling our attention, regardless if we actually get anything done. You know what I mean? A lot of us are working mobily and all of that these days, and so for me, I see this pattern show up for myself is that, you know, I'll do a bunch of different projects, but then I don't complete any of them. And then I wonder why I'm so tired. I wonder why I'm so exhausted and never can catch up, because I'm not completing them. Like from 0 to 100% done. Next project from 0 to 100% done. Right. And for me, I've tried every single planner, digital planner, whatever, and nothing works for my liking. And, you know, so it's like three tasks or less. Right. Or maybe my Monday is going to be this, and this is all I'm going to do, or Tuesday is all I'm going to do. But it's like, you know, if it's like I'm going to read for an hour, or I'm going to put a quote out there for people, something inspiration, those are things you do on a daily basis. But what I'm talking about is projects where you're not going to have them done immediately, right? Come from my experience that if you need to do something or whatever, there's no such thing as time management. Whenever I hear people say that, it's completely not true. You know, you can't manage time, you know?
No. You know what I've started doing, Brian? One, to you'd be proud of me. One is so that I don't waste paper like I always do, putting things in a freaking notebook, to-do list and papers, and where the hell is the to-do list and all that. I've been using my marker board to put what day it is, so that, you know, just being mindful of what day it is, sometimes being in the same space, but also the fact that I have things that I want to achieve that day or the week, and that I have to look at that board every day to say, well, okay, if I don't want to do all my laundry at once, at least I'll do one load today, you know, linens today, towels tomorrow, you know, dark clothes the next day. But I know that I'm slowly working on it, so that by the end of the week, I've achieved those things. So that might be something mindful and a marker board for somebody who's working on a project. One, if anything, one thing it does is that you're putting your project in your face every day to be mindful of it. And what are you going to do with it? And how are you going to answer by the end of the week of what you did to move the needle on that project? And for me, that gives me, you know, that gives me room to do it at my pace and not the pressure, but a deadline. And it's been helpful because I'm not writing all sheets of paper and looking for things. It just that marker board is like just in my face of the things I want to achieve. And I love achieving things, even if they're small. It's just the athlete competitive side of me. And so I challenge that part of me, and it's been a fun game. It really has been awesome. And Darren says self-management to fit in your time. Yes. And I mean, don't be so rigid with your time that you're not allowing yourself to breathe. And I've got to tell you that I, as an introvert, I need to deplug. Hey, I got a new word. Deplug. to deplug. I don't know what, but I have to plug myself off of things. Now I've been doing these confident tones that have been amazing. And yet it's like, even on Clubhouse, I'm like, I got to go to bed because I got to listen to my tones. And it's just amazing that there's certain things you don't barter with, but most of the things you should have some flexibility. And, life doesn't need to be as so rigid as we make it seem mentally. So decluttering your mind and realize, hey, you signed up for this, or hey, you said you're going to show up, and keeping your word to yourself. Change your word to yourself. But a sad thing is when the day that I realized that it's amazing, I can keep promises to everybody else. But when I realized that I don't keep promises to myself or make promises to myself, whoa, big issues there. I realized, oh shit, I won't break a promise with my kids, but I'll break it to myself. And we shouldn't be hard on ourselves that way. Instead, treat yourself like a friend and declutter your mind and let go of so much is not serving you, which is taking up space and time from you learning, from you exploring, and from you doing.
I think that there's a certain perception that to those that are really sure of themselves, they live their life on their terms, not on other people's terms, or what other people deem that their life should look like, right? Like, how many people out there actually have to give more I don't know, weight to other people's opinion about how they should live their life than by the one that they're living themselves, right?
Yep. And just like my dog, I mean, I'm gonna make my freaking bed, and he looks at me. It's pitiful, it's hard, man, but he's conforming. He's finding his little peace and gratitude that he's even allowed on the bed anymore.
Yeah.
It's not being selfish, but it's my health. I realized how much that's lifted my spirit doing that. I realized that I eat better. I feel better about myself just from making my bed. It's crazy. The impact of little things can make, I look around my room. I did so much this weekend that my granddaughter came over and said, wow, you've been working hard. It looks really nice in here. I mean, that's an 8-year-old that even noticed what I did, I mean, I had to make space for her birthday. She got herself a Barbie farm and a Barbie car, and, she needs place to play, and whatnot. So it's like, it's the, don't put your basic life and your basic needs of your own space. I don't care how big of a space you have, but make it so that you can be proud of it and make you feel good, so that at the end of the day you have something to look forward to, or whatever. And decluttering that really declutters your mind from worry free. I mean, it really does free you up.
You have to do it on your terms. Nobody's going to do it for you. The only life you have to live is your own, or you should. And it shouldn't matter what other people's opinions are of you, but you got to make that choice, and you got to be willing to step away from, are you going to do things because other people are going to, it's what they would do, but so pretty much you're not thinking about anything. You're allowing them to do it for you. And you got to do it for yourself first, whether it's mentally or physically. You got to do it for your own well-being,
Brian,
not for anybody else.
Can I just tell you that that's so true as far as you got to do it for yourself? I have a friend of mine's daughter that can come and clean house for me. Pretty reasonable, okay? But get this, just the idea of having her come over here, I take responsibility of, nope, she's not making my bed. No, she's not doing no dishes. No, she's not picking up my clothes. I mean, basically, I just want it mopped and swept and cleaned, deodorized, that kind of thing. But if I really want to keep myself accountable for a lot of other things where I don't feel like, she needs to come here and be my servant or anything like that. But just to have, I've got asthma. So, all the dust and stuff, I just really can't do that. So that's fine. But I don't need to add to her pile, even though she's like, well, I could do this and that. I'm like, no, I need to be accountable for it. And you said, you're right. It's just a matter of, you've got to set those limits of what, I wouldn't feel good about myself if I literally gave her, it's like a hotel room. You don't leave it all trash for the housekeeper to clean it all up. Clean up after yourself. They got your name at the front desk. You're gonna be considered, and 9 years in the hotel business. Okay. I can tell you this, that if you go to a hotel and you make it a pigsty, you know what we do? We put you as an undesirable. We put you as in the next time you call and want to make a reservations, sorry, you can't stay here. So, that is one way, keeping all that stuff out. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Steve, he's inspired me with decluttering. His house is so immaculate. He inspires me to have my house someday like his. He's so cool. He cleans his floors and everything. Then he comes by again. He goes, I'm going to do the CSI cleaning to make sure where I left off. But he inspires me because he knows such a process, but he works on it every day. And it's really so, he just inspires me. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Larry.
Hi, Larry, for being here. So, it truly is. We got a bunch of awesome people on here right now, and I'm just honored by that. And so we're talking about decluttering everything. We're talking about our self-development, our minds, our garages, our just everything that just doesn't serve you, because every year we change and we evolve and we keep things that, that don't serve us anymore. Right. And it's hard to evolve when you don't take out the old to put in the new, like you said. You put all that stuff in your garage and then all of a sudden your car can't go there. And I'm in a place where I don't have a garage, but I'll tell you what, I wish I had a garage for the hailstorm. My car got totaled because of the hailstorm. Luckily it's a silver car, but things like that. How many people in this town that had hailstorms that couldn't put their freaking car in the garage, that got their car totaled and they got a garage? It's just this crazy thing. And everybody that's here, we got quite a few people on here. What are the challenges you have with decluttering, or what parts of your life do you think that?
Well, I would reframe that. I don't think that there's problems. I would think opportunities, because obviously. Yeah. A problem is never going to be turned around unless you reframe it in your mind.
That's true. True.
Because it's like a problem. Ooh, I don't, like resolutions, right?
Right.
I'm not a resolutions person, because just the name of resolution means that there was something inferred that might be wrong or you need to change. Well,
that's true.
There's a reason why people don't do them.
Well, how about this then? When you think of decluttering, what comes to mind? How about sharing that with us? How's that?
Anything that does, just like the definition of decluttering, that's great, Larry. I agree with you, but that's great in theory, because there's a lot of people that have a lot of stuff that gets dust on it, but they don't do anything about it. It's like, well, why is it here if it's collecting dust? Well, in that moment, it's like, oh, it's, I need to do what I'm doing over here, but then my distraction is put over here. Plus, with anything that is in your life that shouldn't be there, you've created a story about not putting it somewhere, right? Otherwise, then it wouldn't be there. And then the more times the more stuff you get in your place, the more it accumulates. Well, then you've got a bigger meaning to overcome. Like, oh my God, I don't got time for this, right? Yeah. And then the habits manifest. It's man, look, I'm glad that you're a decluttering nut. I'm sure that's very freeing and peaceful, right? But it's obviously a habit. You have to make efforts every day, because even getting mail or whatever it is, stuff just gravitates, or even in your email, right? You can have emails upon emails, and it's like, how much of this stuff how much of it is real? How much of it is fake?
Dude, you don't know how much is in my email right now that needs to be decluttered. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh wait. Theron said empty storage shed. You often pay for the stuff over and over again.
100%. Right.
Yeah.
It blows my doors off about
I like
about,
that though.
yeah. I mean, if you can do it, great, but a lot of people won't because they're overwhelmed by the amount of work. You've got to make it ready. You got to take pictures. You got to find a platform to put it on. Then you got to sell it. And it's like a lot of people don't want to do that work, right? You know, and if they do that work, how long is it going to last them? Meaning that they don't repeat that behavior, right? It's like, oh my God, I decluttered my garage. I'm never going to allow it to get like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I used to hang on to stuff until I came to a point in my life where I realized it was holding me back in lots of areas. And I spent over 6 months getting rid of almost everything I own so I could move. I haven't missed a wonderful
That's
Pamela.
awesome,
That's fantastic.
Pam.
That's great.
I'm so proud of you.
I mean,
so
right then and
you.
there, I mean, that one experience was a 6-month commitment. Who knows how long, you know, in addition to make all that happen, or how long it was there before she actually took action on it, right? But now that it's there, it seems like it changed her life. It transformed her world.
Well,
so, you know, are you willing to put however much time into it that could possibly change your life?
And Christopher's in the house.
Christopher's here.
I love you. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of self-help topics this week,
Yep.
Christopher. So
week of self-help.
So you know what? Maybe I'm taking it upon myself here. But you know, Christopher, if you want to come on our show Friday and actually do impromptu with us, that would be kick-ass. Kick-ass. Are you open to the challenge? Let us know. And then he said, here, it's definitely made a difference in my life. My mom is a bit of a hoarder. Yeah, you know, and that's just it. My house, my life has evolved since 2008. With my divorce, and all his content was here, and I had gotten rid of my business office into this house as well. I had every room. I mean, I had the closets and a bedroom upstairs. I had like everywhere you could imagine. Like there was just a little path to my bed. I mean, I lived like I was in a storage room for years. And so, I mean, it's such a process, and I'm just honing down on it now. Had most of it for years, had to let go of some of my son's childhood stuff. It was challenging, also worth it. Let me tell you, 20 years ago, I had a house fire, and talk about decluttering, whether I liked it or not. It had soot, it had smoke, it was all damaged. I mean, mementos, I mean, pictures and things like that. And it's just an amazing thing when I realized, you know what, I survived that 20 years later. And let's see. He said, yeah, I would love to share with you guys.
That's cool.
So we are going to promote you being here. It would be a super honor. That's going to be a kicking ass Friday. Woo-hoo. And what we do, Christopher, just so that you know, I'm going to let Brian explain this real quick.
Yeah.
And that is what Friday actually means and what we do. And
so Christopher, Fridays is where we take actual words that encompass everything we talk about. They're like either like little statements or 1 or 2 word, you know, things that stand out over the course of the next 4 days. And then I put those all on a list. I take a couple sheets of paper, put them on each one. I pull them out random. And then Lynn and I go back and forth, or you'd be involved in this. And we just share like a little bit about, you know, quick-witted, boom, improv. What does this topic mean to you? And we try to get through as many as we can before the hour is up of our show. So it kind of propels everybody in the weekend and kind of refreshes everybody from everything we talked about throughout this week.
You know what, Chris, or Brian, we're going to have to talk about this, but you know, well, how cool would it be if we had a viewer of ours for the week, whoever would love every week, Friday, we pick one of our viewers to actually do that with us, that have the kahunas to come in here. I think that would be kicking ass, wouldn't it? We just love to evolve as we go here. So it's awesome. And Pam is right, though. It's hard to let go of sentimental items, but you got to realize sometimes that keeps you bogged down.
Right.
And, you know, it's one of those things. So he goes, love improv, raw and unscripted,
sure is.
baby.
Sure is.
Oh, yeah. Pam, do you want to do it the following week? That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So, Theron
Good
says
idea.
he has no kahunas. He's not going to show up, but that's okay. You'll be here in our heart. Yeah. So, so it really is a guy that's so kicking ass about self-help. To have him be part of this week is awesome, because he can encompass so many things in what we're talking about, and put it in a kick-ass way.
But it's going to be quick-witted, fast-paced. We're not creating books here. Just banter back and forth, and we're going to get through as many as we could. Cool.
Pam is next week. Okay,
Excellent.
Pam, we're holding you that. Awesome.
The beautiful part is she's signing up for some. She doesn't even know what we're going to be talking about next week, so that's great. That's wonderful. Yeah.
But we got it recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, she said she would love to. I'm gonna leave that there for a minute.
I think we should screenshot that we can use it against her. No, just kidding.
I'm gonna screenshot that. That is so awesome. Say, okay, you're gonna be on next week with us.
Okay,
Friday.
I took a picture of it, Pamela. We got visual evidence of this.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, but seriously, we've got some really rocking awesome people here. And let me tell you, for those that are here commenting, and some of you that are watching that are not commenting, I would highly recommend that you follow Christopher Rosh and Pamela Aubrey. These are people that will change your life and they impact the world. And we are just honored to even be among them as just who they are. And yeah, and like you said, just like Nike, just do it. That's right. And she goes, LOL, all the more fun, right? Yes, Pamela. Or I should screenshot that too. So what else should we talk about decluttering?
I just think it's a learned habit. It's something that you have to do. And every expert out there, whether it's Joshua Fields Milburn and Ryan Nicodemus or Leah Babauta, you start small, right? Joshua Becker talks about if you live in a house, you start with something that you can do that day, or it doesn't matter if it's 30 minutes or an hour, right? For the bigger things, you remove, just to get yourself going, start with removing one item from your house or your environment every day, right? There's a lot of different mindsets, but it's like at least you're, if we're looking at deposits versus withdrawals, is that you're taking out more than you're putting in. And that's the goal, right? Because obviously it's thank you, Christopher, is that you're not going to do this overnight, because there's all this built up understanding that it's like, I need to hold on to this stuff. And so to get somebody to do something really big and transformative overnight is not going to happen.
Check this out. I love this idea. Take pictures and let it go. Yeah. I studied topics a few years ago. You know what? I love that. I truly love that idea. Because it's funny, because of my house fire, there's only a few pictures that I have, and that's a long story for another time next month, because it'll be 20 years ago. But truly, it was a blessing for as far as pictures. We're in a digital world, whether you put it on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you do, plus giving pictures to friends. We're blessed now that if you do have a house fire and you weren't greedy with your pictures, the memories stay elsewhere. I mean, I was a bodybuilder and I had some bodybuilding pictures that I was so embarrassed about, but they're burnt up. I mean, there's like no memories of a lot of things in my life. So it really is awesome. If you have a picture, that would really serve purpose.
Pictures, and I'll take it one step further in terms of documents or things like that. If you run a small business or whatever, if you have testimonials from customers or report cards or whatever, is to digitize all that. You could put it in binders or still have physical copies of it, but it could be something that's put on the shelf, right?
Absolutely.
Just get some really big 5-inch binders or whatever, so then you still have access to it on any of your devices. If you need to pull it out, whether you're on the road or on your tablet or on your desktop or
talk about laptop. Saving some space, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, put it in a box for 6 months. If you don't open it, yep, absolutely.
Well, it just blows my doors off that it's like, okay, going back to the fun, going back to one of the things about decluttering in the very beginning is that you have to make a conscious choice, and that starts from up here, right? Mm-hmm. There's something inside of you that doesn't feel right by having this stuff, right? But how big is that pain inside of you to actually take a step? I'm going to clean out my junk drawer today, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to clean out my garage. I'm going to get rid of boxes of purchases that I made years ago. Or maybe I have boxes from things I bought years ago and I've held on to them because of, what if I need to have it repaired or something, right?
Yeah.
It's all
of that. Too many what ifs.
Exactly.
The what ifs and the shouldas and the shitting yourself all the time with the shoulda, woulda, coulda. Well, and
with electronics and stuff like that, it's like, the cost of buying a new one is going to be less expensive than getting it repaired. That's just the way our society is today, unless you have an insurance policy on it or something. So Pamela says, I did that with my son's artwork and papers from school that I couldn't save. You can have them made into books. That's great. That's
absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Right. But yeah, it's a great topic where if things piss you off, like, you know, you losing your keys, or you don't know where your gloves are, and you don't have a habit for it, and then you're always continuously finding it, do you not think that maybe you should do something about it to make your life easier, so that you can alleviate that hassle every day of the same shit? I mean, like, what's it going to take for it to just change? You get your sanity back. Just get your sanity back by doing one little thing for yourself. It'll pay you 10 souls.
I think a lot of people are spending a lot of, obviously there's commodity goods and things that people need or whatever that, we'll just buy the cheapest or whatever. But for those things that we depend on, like a webcam or a computer, it's like, okay, do you want to, how nagging is it going to be that you have to buy a computer every year or so because you bought, one that was really inexpensive and, you just made do with it versus one that's going to last you a long time. I mean, it's hard for me not to talk about decluttering and not bringing in value into how I look at things. Like, how long is this going to last me? Is this future proof? Meaning it's going to last me down the road pending any issues, right? And I don't think a lot of people think about that when they, for me, I want to buy great pairs of pants because I know they're going to last. And, when I can no longer wear them anymore, I know that I made one investment in those pairs of pants and they lasted me for a long time, right? A computer, a microphone, to broadcast with all of you guys, right? If this is something that you want to be fulfilled by and that has a purpose, invest the money in those things, right? Now, it's easy for me to say because I'm just speaking openly about this, but it's like, you add more stress to your life when you have to keep buying things, right? In my opinion.
Oh, yeah. You got to go back to the store. Who likes to go to the store? And half the time,
Correct.
How many times the thing you wish you wanted, you thought they were still carrying, they don't freaking have it anymore.
Well, and two things is that, number one is that if you don't buy once, like there's a lot of different philosophies on this, but I don't come from the mindset of like buy once, cry once. You might have heard that. I come from the mindset of buy once and never look back. Right?
I love it.
Because I know that, like, when I need my webcam to work or I need my laptop to work or my microphone to work, I don't have to worry about it because I invested it. So it's a peace of mind thing instead of how much you're going to take out on yourself to be like, man, this dang thing don't work. Well, the difference in cost more times than not between something that is going to cause you a pain or be uncertain if it's going to work for you and actually something that delivers every time is usually not that much money in most cases.
Absolutely. We're going to have to probably go to our action steps here soon. I got to leave.
And obviously, if you own a business, these are tax write-offs anyways, right? And we all need tax write-offs every year. So it's like we need to have those, right? So.
Absolutely. I'm going to leave a few minutes early. I'm going to be on the stage at Clubhouse here. But here, let's see.
Just take care of the deeper root of problem with why we allow clutter in our shop a bunch. Yeah. I mean, I think that we did, Christopher, one of the things I grapple with is I want to do everything now. And it's like, okay, anything for decluttering, as Pamela talked about just in her scenario, is that it's like, okay, what are you willing to commit to now that'll eventually be, complete in months down the road, right? There is no instant gratification with all this, especially to dig down deep, possibly of years of stuff or whatever and going through stuff. But how long do you want to live like that? How does that make you fulfilled? No. Well, then how nagging is the issue to do something about it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we ready for our action?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. So the action step and question for everybody with us on day number 1 of our self-help week of self-help is: are you willing to commit in removing one thing every day that doesn't fulfill you or serve a purpose anymore? That's the question that we have for you. And until we gather tomorrow for day number 2 of self-help, if you want to share with us that one item, it doesn't matter if it's a bag of rubber bands or how negligible it is. We want to know what that one item is that you're going to get rid of, that you're going to put in the garbage and say, I don't need this anymore.
Hey Brian, because we have such a good group of people here right now, I want to give a sneak peek to what our question is for tomorrow.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, tomorrow's health is to get your mind right. Your mind right and the garbage out of your mouth so you can talk. So I just thought that would be cool to just put that in there, mostly because we got it all set up for the week.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing is that the reason why the prefix is self is because you have to take it on yourself.
That's
Nothing
right.
is going to happen unless you put yourself in action that, hey, I need to disrupt this. This isn't working for me anymore. I don't care how long it's going to take, but I know it's where I need to be. And it's not something that anybody else is going to knock on your door and say, you need to declutter. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to get uncomfortable with yourself, some more than others, depending on how long it's been brewing to disrupt your world. You have to take the action in order to do it because nobody's going to do it for you.
Brian, they've got to be real and raw with themselves.
Boom.
That's it. Boom. And any final
and here's the
thoughts?
thing. You need to do that without making yourself wrong, because there's a distinction there. There's one thing to disrupt what you're doing, like from a habit. I need to take this action every day. I'm going to put on my calendar for a half hour, an hour, whatever it is, that I'm going to do this every day. Gradually build up to something where you start tackling rooms in your house or a closet that you haven't looked at in years, right? But without making yourself wrong. Not saying, oh, man, I'm such an idiot. I didn't do this earlier or whatever. None of that. None of that.
Yeah. You know what's really funny, and I want everybody to try this. Why don't you check to see, time yourself, how long does it take to put something away? How long does it take to wash one dish? How long does it take to put something in the garbage? How long does it take to actually delegate a click of a second just to say, give away, throw away, or put away?
Right.
And that goes for the things in your mind too.
Well, and it's like, okay, with all the different mail order services today, how many of you have bought something new recently, but you didn't get over what it was going to be replacing or eventually replacing, right?
Right.
Because there had to be some reason why you bought the new thing. So why do you still have the old thing?
Absolutely. And you guys that have been watching, I really appreciate this. If you got any value, would appreciate you sharing this.
Yeah.
Because we're really going to be doing some fun topics as we go ahead. So we would love for our viewers not to get lost in Lynnerisms, as Brian has coined the phrase. Lynnisms. Yeah.
And I've got two of them.
To get that right.
I've got two of them. I've got two of them so far. So we've got a few days yet to add up to the list for Christopher and all of us to interact with and embarrass ourselves.
I know. So you guys, thank you so much. I am super honored to be surrounded by Brian, Chris, Pam, Larry, everybody that's here. My life has changed. And you know why it changed? Because I took initiative to surround myself with people that make a difference in my life. So you guys consider that. And I love you guys. And we so look forward to our discussion tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.
Me too. Bye.
Bye.